Hello everyone, this is Umashankar Ratnala. In this session, we are going to discuss about one of the important feature from Oracle Integration Cloud is FTP Adapter, and also we will cover what is the difference between FTP and SFTP, and we will go through the FTP adapter capabilities, and also we will go through the one practical session. Okay, let's get started. So now we can understand why FTP and SFTP, right? So as you know, FTP is a standard communication protocol. So an FTP port is a communication endpoint that allows data transfer between a computer desktop and a server. So if you are working on any EBS related projects, so whenever you wanted to place the file in the server, you have to connect through the WinSAP or PuTTY. You can use any third party tools, right? Before connecting to the WinSAP, you have to provide the protocol. So SFTP is the protocol, and you can provide the host name and port number, and you can provide the username, password. You can connect to the server. So you can just drag and drop your files to the server location, right? So it is called as a FTP. By using FTP protocol, we can transfer the file from our desktop to server, right? That's what. So what about SFTP? SFTP is also, it's a alternative to FTP that also allows you to transfer the files, but adds a layer of security to the process. So we are providing a additional security to transfer the files from your desktop to local server. So SFTP is nothing but secure file transfer protocol. That means we can securely transfer the files from the desktop to server, right? So SFTP uses SSH or security shell encryption to protect the data as it being transferred, because when we are placing the file any sensitive information, we can secure the data, right? So that's why we can use the SFTP protocol. Now we can discuss why this FTP adapter from OIC and what are the various capabilities. So FTP adapter from OIC is one of the out-of-box adapter that help you to interact with FTP or SFTP server. So whenever you wanted to invoke any FTP server, you have to create a connection with the FTP adapter. Okay, so you cannot use this FTP adapter as a trigger, but we can use scheduled orchestration and add a FTP as a invoke for modeling trigger type integrations. Okay, so if you want to use this FTP adapter, first you need to create a connection, right? So we can use this FTP adapter to encrypt and decrypt the file using PGP cryptography. PGP is nothing but pretty good privacy. It is used for signing, encrypting and decrypting the text, emails, files, directories to increase the security of email communications or any messages. So whenever you wanted to transform any credit card information, personal information, your email address, Aadhaar card, anything, we have to secure the data by using PGP encryption and decryption. So in order to use this PGP encryption decryption, you need a private key and public key. Okay, so it is a versatile tool that takes advantage of the full capabilities. It will support email encryptions, file encryptions and digital signature. In OIC also, while using your FTP adapter, right, while writing the files, you have a option encrypt and decrypt modes, so that you can secure your sensitive data. So whatever the data you are trying to transforming to target server location, we can use this encrypt and decrypt modes. Let's take an example. User A wants to send some private message or email to B, right? So user B generates a public key and a private key, right? So B keeps the private key and send back the public key to A, right? So A uses the public key to encrypt the message, and B uses the private key for the decrypt the message. So that if you want to use this PGP encryption, you need a private key and public key. Now we can see the various business scenarios. We can use this FTP adapter connection in OIC. So basically, business will place the file in the SFTP location. So the first scenario, we have to read that file from the SFTP location server and we can write into the other SFTP location. So that is the one scenario. Another scenario, we have to read the file from the SFTP location. We can populate into the ATP database tables. So the third requirement is we have to read that file from the SFTP location. So we can use the FBD approach, right? We can import that file. And also we can read that file from the SFTP location and we can call the web services accordingly by passing the input values, right? These are the various scenarios we can use in the real time. Now I am going to summarize the capabilities of FTP adapter. So we can use the FTP adapter to read and write the files in either ASCII or binary format. It allows PGP encryption and decryption on the files. It provides the streaming support for transferring the large files. So we can use the FTP adapter to create a schema file format to use for the files to transfer. It supports the file signing support. So file can be processed from any SFTP server which is publicly accessible, or behind the firewall we can access that server with the help of the connectivity agent. And we can use the different security policies to connect to the FTP or SFTP server, right? So one more important point is FTP's adapter cannot be used to pull the files from FTP or SFTP server. So in order to pull the files, we have to use the file adapter. So we can discuss the same in the separate session. Now we can see what are the different operations are exist in FTP adapter connection. So we have list file operation, write file operation, read a file operation, move a file operation, delete a file operation, download file operation. We will go through each and every operation. First one is the list files. So this operation is used to list all the files present over the SFTP or FTP server on the given directory. It will do the wildcard search on the name of the file to the list files. So whenever business place the 10 files on the server, okay, this list file operation will check the 10 files from the server. It's a similar like show all command in Linux. Next one is the read file operation. This operation reads a file from the SFTP or FTP server and put it into OIC logical directory. Okay. So if you have not selected any schema, a file size up to 1 GB is supported. In case of if you have selected the schema, a file size up to 50 MB selected. Right? Whenever trying to load the more than 50 MB, if you try to use the read file, you are end up with an error. Right? If you are trying to import the more than 50 MB, read file is not going to support it. Right? So in that scenario, we have to use the download option from the FTP adapter, and we can use the stage activity to read the file in the segments. Okay, we will see this scenario in the next session. But by using the read file, we can import the file up to 50 MB in case of if you select the schema file. Next one is write file. So this operation used to write or create a single file over SFTP or FTP server. Okay, this is also similar like read file. If you have not selected any schema, a file size up to 1 GB supported. If you have selected the schema, a file size up to 50 MB supported. Okay, so we can use decryption while writing the file operation. So next one is the move file operation. This operation is used to move the files from one directory to another directory over SFTP or FTP server. Right? So whenever you wanted to archive the files from the source location and we can move to the target location, we can use the move file operation. So whenever you wanted to move the multiple files, first we need to use the list file operation to list all the files. Right? By using the for each loop, you can move all the files. You can by you iterating the file by file, we can move to the target location. So next one is the delete files. Whenever you want to delete a file from a location, you can use the delete file operation. So, but whenever you wanted to delete a multi-file files, first we need to list all the files. So, by using the for each loop, we can delete one by one. Okay. So, next one is the download files. This operation is used to read or download a file from SFTP server to OIC logical directory. Okay. You can read a file up to 1 GB of size using the download a file operation. Now we can discuss what do we need when we wanted to use the FTP adapter connection. First one is the FTP or SFTP details. That means you should know host name, username and password. Right. Next one is the source directory. So source directory is nothing but where business plays that file, right? And the target directory, that means where we are going to write the source file, right? And also sometimes business wanted to archive the files, right? In that scenario, we need a archive directory also. Next one is the file name pattern. So file name pattern is nothing but how business wanted to place the file in the server. What is the naming convention? That means whether we need to add any sequence to the file name, otherwise whether we need to add any system timestamp to the file name. So we have to give the file pattern while writing the file in the target location. Okay, so we will go through the one real-time integration so that you can easily understand.